Our gospel reading today contains some of Jesus' most famous words. Come to me, all of you who are weary and overburdened, and I will give you rest. These are comforting words. But what did Jesus actually mean? To understand them, we need to look at what comes just before. Firstly, Jesus thanks God because God's truth has been revealed to ordinary people. Secondly, he then invites everyone who is tired and burdened to come to him. And thirdly, rather surprisingly, he says that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. We'll come back to what that means a little later, because it's one of the most memorable and perhaps surprising images in the whole passage. And I think there is an interesting connection here with our story from Genesis. And this was a story that we recently told at our Bubble Church service a couple of months ago. In Genesis, Abraham's servant is sent on a journey to find a wife for Isaac. He prays for God's guidance and watches carefully for God's answer. Then Rebecca appears. She doesn't know the whole plan. She doesn't know what the future will look like. She doesn't even know Isaac. Yet when the invitation comes, she responds in faith. What strikes me about this story is that nobody involved has any kind of remarkable knowledge. Nobody really fully understands the whole picture. Nobody has all the answers. And that leads us to a really important question. If God is speaking and inviting people to follow him, who is most likely to hear that invitation?
Yeah, and Jesus' answer to that question, who is most likely to hear that invitation, is one that really, really surprises us, because he says this, he says, I thank you, Father, because you have hidden these things from the clever and the intelligent, and you have shown them to little children. What are these things he is talking about here? The things that have been hidden from the clever and the intelligent and shown to little children. Jesus here is talking about the truth of who God is and what God is doing in the world through him. And the point he's trying to make here, it's not that children are more intelligent than adults. His point is that God's kingdom and God's love is not known necessarily through knowing things. God's love and God's kingdom is something we receive through trust, openness, humility, and not simply just knowledge. In other words, to know God isn't some kind of complicated puzzle that only the cleverest of us in this room can solve. Rather, God's invitation is open to all of us who are willing to receive it. And as Rachel said, this connects beautifully with the story we read in Genesis. Now, throughout Christian history and in the church, there's been a little bit of debate between certain people, and I'm going to give a very simplified account of this debate. Sorry to all historians who may be upset for giving such a simple version of what really was a little bit more complicated, but there have been some people in the church who have strongly emphasised careful study, theology and knowledge of doctrine, and there's been others who've emphasised, the more direct way of prayer, experience, and that personal relationship with God. And sometimes this gets summarised as a battle between head religion and heart religion. Now, what can we say about that, and what does our passage say about that? I think it's important to know that knowing things about God isn't wrong. God calls us to worship him with all our bodies, including our mind. And for many people, that study of Scripture is a wonderful way to worship God. But I think this passage is really showing us something. And there's a huge difference we must always remember. Knowing about God is not the same as knowing God. And think back to that quiz we took earlier and the differences between certain questions. There was facts we could know, and there were things that were questions that were about relationships and trust. And that is very connected to what we're trying to explore today. A child probably wouldn't be able to explain, extremely complicated theological ideas yet, might not know every single thing about the history of the church or the history of the Bible. But what children often can do much, much, much better than adults is know how to trust, know how to receive a gift, and know how to ask for help as well. And these are the qualities that Jesus is praising here. And he's calling all of us to be like that, because God's love is not earned through intelligence or general knowledge. It's being revealed through trust and trust in him. And that invitation is open to every single one of us, whether we're confident or uncertain, whether we're academics or just beginning to follow Jesus. God is welcoming all of us. Now the passage continues, and Jesus, having spoken about who can know God, turns and offers this invitation to people who want to know him. He says, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and overburdened." And those words can remind us that Jesus really does know what our lives are like here on earth. He knows that every single one of us here today is carrying something that's probably weighing us down. And Rachel is going to help us try and unpack what some of those burdens we're carrying may be.
Yeah, it's really good news that Jesus really knows what life is like for us, because every single one of us carries burdens. Jack and I are going to need 10 volunteers to come up and help us with the next activity. So if there are volunteers that would like to come up, very simple, promise. We just need 10 people to come and help us. Yeah, do you want to come join us? I mean, we've got 4. We do need 10 because we've got 10 balls, so it does connect, I promise. You're right. Brilliant. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? Need 2 more. Thank you. It's very simple task, I promise. We're not going to make you do anything scary. I can do one. I'll do one. Right, okay, so this is really simple, okay? We'd like you to think about a burden that people carry in their lives, okay? It could be something you've experienced yourself, or it might just be something that you know that other people face. Just one word, and we're going to ask you to write it on one of the beach balls. So you might want to think about different ages, different circumstances. So for instance, children might be worried about school, or they might be worried about their friends. Teenagers might be worried, obviously, about exam pressure, pressure to succeed, the future. Adults might be worried about things like work, money worries, family responsibilities, and older people may be things like illness, loneliness, grief, caring for people. So we're going to ask you now to pick up a ball each. We've got some pens for you, and we'd like to just write a word on that ball. Do you think you can have a go? Fantastic. I'm going to grab a pen too. Let me get a pen for George. There you go, George. Good, darling. Do you want me to help you? So, can you think of something that might worry children? What do you think children worry about? What kind of things do you worry about sometimes?
Sometimes my friends worry about going to school.
Oh, that's a good one.
And those of us who are sat down right now, I'd encourage you to, even if you're not writing something on a board, just to think about what are those burdens you are carrying right now.
Brilliant, George. You hold on to that now. Okay, we've got one more left. I think we've probably got enough. Oh, we have. Okay, I think we've probably got enough. Okay, well done. So, Jack, can you help us out now?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and give our burdens now to Jack. Okay, so Jack's going to stand here and we're going to see how many burdens Jack can cope with. Okay, so are you ready, Jack? Do you want to take George's first? George, do you want to tell us what you put on your ball? What did you put? School. So Jack put school on his ball, which we thought might be one that lots of young people think about. I put caring for my children when they're struggling. So when they're having a hard time, helping them, I find that can be hard. Is anybody else prepared to?
I put workload.
Brilliant.
I put loneliness.
Yeah.
Illness and frailty. Food security. I put money because it can be a real issue if there's not enough money.
Yeah.
Independence. Future. I put future.
Yeah. Great. Right, Jack. How many of those do you think you can cope with?
I don't know. How long
Yeah. Do you have a sweepstake? Right. You ready? Right. There we go. Got 2. Yeah, all of them. We might have to throw in a few extra. Oh, he's doing really well. Well done, Jack. Well done. Thank you, George. Thank you so much. You can now go and sit down. Thank you. So I think as that shows, the truth is that none of us can carry everything. But that's exactly what Jesus says. Come to me, all of you who are weary and overburdened. Notice that he doesn't say, come to me when you've sorted everything out, or come to me when you're strong enough. He simply says, come to me, as you are, right now, whatever you're carrying. But if we bring our burdens to Jesus, what does he actually do with them? Jack's going to help us to think about that now.
Thank you, Rachel. So as we see in this passage and as we've explored, Jesus doesn't just invite us to come to him. He also said, take my yoke upon me and learn from me. And just to say, a yoke used to be this wooden frame that 2 animals were joined together with, and they could work side by side. So what Jesus is basically saying here is, walk with me, learn from me, and let me help carry what you're carrying. Because obviously the Christian life is not going to be burden-free, but it means it won't be lonely. Jesus isn't just going to stand at a distance and tell us to, try harder. He's coming alongside us. He's walking with us. He's helping to share that load. And that's exactly why he invites us to come to him, all you who are weary and overburdened, and he will give us rest. And it doesn't mean, as I said, it's not that everything's going to become super easy. But it means that we're not going to have to carry everything alone.
It's time for the notices. So, just finding my update. Hopefully you got the update. If you don't get the update, please sign up on the website. That gives you information about everything that happens each week. We have 2 introductions this time, one for this week and one for next Friday. So read the update again on Friday, because this is your update for 2 weeks. Sally's away and we wish her a very restorative time with family, and hope that she comes back to us rested and restored. And I just want to highlight 2 things from the update. On the 19th, after the 10:45 service, we're having a barbecue. There is a form that has been sent out in the update for you to sign up to if you would like to come, so we know how much to buy to barbecue, and also to volunteer to bring either a pudding or a salad. so that we know what is going to come. So please fill that in, or there is a paper sheet at the back that you can sign up on this morning. So please fill out one of those. And then the other thing is to say thank you to everyone who has responded to Sally about the Inclusive Church network and the fact that we're looking at potentially joining that. If you've not told her what you think, she would still love to hear from you. We'd love to know everybody's views, everybody's perspectives. And there's been a number of people who've asked for more opportunity to discuss that. So we're going to look at putting some times and dates together so that if you would like to, we can bring some groups together to discuss that further. Otherwise, check the update for what else is going on. Thank you. Oh, Natalie wants to say something. I've just remembered. Well done.
Morning, everyone. We have afternoon teas next Sunday afternoon. At the moment, I'm going to be doing them on my own. So if anybody is around next Sunday we set up from about 2 o'clock and we're packed up by 5 o'clock. We do have a lot of fun. So if anybody would like to help next Sunday, that would be amazing. So I'll be around after the service, so you come and have a chat with me. Thanks.
Bring all your burdens, your worries and fears. Trust like a child through the joy and the tears. He's holding your hand as we start a new day. So come as you are, you don't walk alone. Jesus is with us, He's making us whole. Every step of the journey, we're safe in His love. No, you don't walk alone.